Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. February's only been a 4-week month, but it's been quite a productive one, I think. Some nice pictures coming up on my daily trips out with the cameras, so come along and see what I saw. Started off quite interesting beginning of the month with the fields flooded, but with 5 herons all stood round, I think hoping probably for frogs to be passing through. They just stood there quite patiently, as they do. And every time I remembered to video them, they stood even stiller, so you wouldn't know it was video, really. First time I've seen 5 together. And after that, we had the usual little egrets flying by. Early morning, of course, these pictures, as you can tell on the light that was there, but always nice to see them. Then a little redwing. They're normally a flock bird, I thought, but this one was totally on its own. Quick whiz down the coast road, a couple of shell ducks there, colourful ducks. Then a trip out to Kendal, lucky enough to see the kingfisher. Seen that a few times over this month. Quite successful at catching fish. And luckily I was videoing it at just the right time. These were all taken from right across the river, so I wasn't too close to it, but it didn't seem bothered in the least. And because I was a fair way away from it, it was a little bit easy to try and get some action shots. So I got 1 or 2 quite nice ones, I think. Beautiful birds. Then we had a walk along the canal up at Kendal End. Hoping to see some otters, which we didn't see, but I thought this was a bit odd, this little egret having a run through the field. This is slowed down, of course, but it must have had its eye on something, but we didn't see it catch anything. It's really nice, the canal along there, really. We'll have to go back. That second swan's got a really bad kink in its neck, but we saw a local that had seen it for years. It's always had that kink in its neck, so no need for concern, really. Usual gooseanders up on the Kent. Cormorants, heck of a wingspan. Then a little bit of swan action where you can tell when they're starting to show that aggression, chances are they're going to take off any minute, and luckily it did do. Quite close. Little chaffinch. Tree creeper. Then back home, early morning again. Lucky to see the roe deer, the female ones. There's quite a few little egrets around that day as well. Seem to be paired up quite nicely. I was hoping it was going to catch something, but I didn't actually see it catch anything. Then it flew right into the tree right near where I was stood. And then the second one flew into the tree. So again, they weren't bothered that I was stood there. I'm not sure if they were weighing each other up or whether they were trying to pair up, but there was a little bit of conflict and one flew off, so it could be a male chasing another male out of the way, perhaps. Don't know. little song thrush on the hedges. They've all been cut back neatly. Then another morning, roe deer again. Nothing much that day. Grey wagtail. In slow motion, try to see the action there. This must be up on the Kent again, I think. Yeah, it was. You can nearly always guarantee to see a grey wag and goose sanders. And if you're lucky, kingfishers and otters. And if you're unlucky, the mink. So I was watching the grey wag and then kingfisher flew in, so that was quite nice. I'm not sure what it's looking that way for, because it's not looking down into the water. I think it's just probably trying to get out of the wind, perhaps. And then that was nice. A little Jenny wren came out from the undergrowth. Don't often get them in the clear, but I thought I'd video it for a change. And this is all slowed down because they're quite a fast little bird, as I'm sure you know. And the kingfisher still just sat there. Then it flew to a different perch and managed to get it in flight. They fly just like an arrow, low and straight. And they go down the beach at Rampside, Turnstones. There's always turnstones down there when the tide's coming up. And Dunlin. Turnstones and Dunlin. And back on my local walk again. I've been using my Hick Micro Thermal to spot these deer. If you didn't have one of those, you'd walk down and not even think there was anything there. So well camouflaged. Tell it's a quiet day when I'm taking pictures of blackbirds. And the cormorants are on the usual perches on the canal. I don't know if the feathers on its head there denote its inbreeding colours, or whether it denotes it's a male, or whether it's a slightly different breed. I've no idea. If you know, let me know, please. You can almost guarantee them to be on those perches. Every time I've been down recently, they've been sat there. Oh, nice dive. Again in slow motion to see the action. I kind of like seeing the roe deer like that, where they're just popping their heads up. There are plenty of pigeons around. And obviously back to Kendal again, and the little kingfisher's doing quite well. Quite lucky to get those shots. Then it perched up in the tree, and a dog came right underneath it, and there's the kingfisher watching the dog. And then a man walked right up to where the dog was stood and said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "I'm watching the kingfisher." He didn't even see it was right in front of him. Anyway, by the by, new spring lambs. Pretty newborn, I would say. The kingfisher again with a catch. Don't think it does much use bashing the tail end of the fish, but I guess it knows what it's doing. And this is a flyby of the Kingfisher in slow motion. This is slowed down to a tenth of the speed, just to give you an idea of how fast and quick and straight they fly. Not quite in focus, but gives you an idea. So it's 10 times faster than that in reality. Then luckily it landed again on a decent perch. Seems to be one of its favourite perches, at Kendal there. It wasn't disturbed this time, so that was good. The wrens seem to like it under the undergrowth there. Only problem is that's exactly the same place that you see the mink going in and out of the undergrowth, so I hope it stays safe. Anyway, back home. Windy, cold day, and that roe deer stayed there for 2 days. Stone chat. Another day and it's still in the same position. And we go down Askham Beach. There's a rock pipit. Golden eye. This was a glorious day actually. Best day we've had all year, I think. Lots of geese flying over. Little dunlin calling out. Green shank and a red shank being very pally. And a pied wag, which you don't often get those coming so near to you. That was probably only about 10 feet away. And the good old little egret again on the marshes. A nice dipper. This is up at Kendal again. Seem to have been to Kendal a lot this month. River Kent's very high at the moment. Yeah, the Kingfisher did an appearance. Again, that's on its favourite perch again. I would have sworn it was asleep on this video. Then back home, the roebuck appeared with its antlers in velvet. Nice to see it. I haven't seen it for a while. Seem to grow really fast, those antlers. They regrow them every year. And the buzzard was overhead, but they're very twitchy. That's probably as near as it's ever been to me. There's the roebuck again. Again, I wouldn't have spotted them without the thermal. Then it started raining, so I went home. And there's an idea of what you normally see. There's a deer right in the centre of that image there. Now that the thermal would have shown that up perfectly. Those are the same lambs that have grown a little bit in a week or so. Right, trying some very slow exposures here on the Dippper, right down to 1/10 of a second to try and get the water moving. Shovel the duck in flight at Leighton Moss along with an otter. Seem to be taking a catch back to its young, so I'm assuming that's the female. Long way away. Little snipe next to a coot. Gives you an idea how small the snipe are when you see them next to the coot. So well camouflaged. Until spring's come in, there was a lot of action between the ducks. This female gadwall was quite dominant, chasing the males off. Little tufted duck. And the little island there at Leighton Moss is visible again now, and there's lots of birds making use of it. Distant swan coming in. Hoped it would come nearer, but... And then back home, that was quite nice. Quite happy to see that. Got the roebuck jumping the fence. Blackbirds, magpies. Yeah, and when they disappear, they seem to go in between the fence line where the hawthorn bushes are and just lie down. Probably feel safe between the fences. And up in Kendal again. And the dippers, it was lovely watching them. So I'm sure they're ready to mate because they were tapping bills. They even went under the undergrowth and were getting quite pally. I thought there might have been some mating action, but I didn't actually see any, but I didn't hang around too long. But nice to see two together. As I say, the river is really high at the moment, but the dippers, they seem to love it. They seem to know where every submerged rock is. They just appeared up on a rock. And then after food again. I can watch them all day. Seem to like it when the water's running really hard. Probably dislodges more grubs for them to eat. There we go again. I'm sure that's a sign of affection. Little walk down Millwood. I haven't been down there for ages. Didn't see much really, but nice thrush, distant buzzard. Then back home on my local daily walk. Oh, there's a bucket list shot. I think it's one of my favourites. I just like watching them. Brilliant. And while I was watching them, a little wren came out into the open, which was nice to see. The struggle to get wren shots. There's plenty of mallard ducks around getting ready for breeding, I think. Cormorant trying its wings on the canal. Grey-lag goose. There's only two there. Sometimes there's hundreds. We found that this is yesterday at Heybridge. The heronry was very, very active. Lots of herons. perch flying in. And we saw some red deer in the distance. These were a long, long way off. But I was only using the little Z 50 Mark II with the 100 to 400 and the 2x converter, but they came out okay, really. All these pictures with that little camera. And it was raining as well, which didn't help with the light, but tried some action shots. And we're near the end now. Ends up with a little mouse. Lots of blue tits. Right, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and like, share, comment, come back next month, please. Gives me something to do. Thank you. Bye for now.